Today, a myriad of updates comes from the AA direction, with the most intense clashes unfolding in the central part of the region. The primary objective of Ukrainian forces is to execute a gradual and controlled withdrawal to the next defense line along the river. This strategic retreat must be methodical to prevent Russian forces from gaining perilous momentum and to ensure the stability of the front line. Conversely, the chief aim of Russian forces is to exploit the Ukrainian withdrawal, building momentum to breach the next defense and collapse the front line before the Ukrainians entrench themselves completely. Recognizing this dynamic, the Ukrainian command continues to hold several settlements south of the river. Beyond impeding the momentum of the Russian advance, repelling attacks on these settlements is crucial to ensuring the safe withdrawal of every soldier holding strong points in the fields. The most significant challenge faced by Ukrainian fighters in these villages is the relentless Russian bombardments, given that fortifications were constructed north of the river, not south of it. Nevertheless, Ukrainian reports suggest that the destruction of the F-50 long-range radar detection aircraft temporarily disrupted Russian aviation operations. The Ukrainian main military intelligence directorate reported that Russian forces immediately ordered 5 S-35 aircraft to terminate ongoing combat missions, some of which included conducting airstrikes in front of Avdiivka. Such developments compelled Russians to rely solely on ground assault. Analyzing combat footage from the region reveals that regular infantry assaults in small units of up to 10 people did not fare well, as Ukrainians deployed snipers to control the fields. Ukrainian snipers documented their successes in various videos, showcasing how they effectively targeted Russian infantry attempting night attacks. After several days, Russian forces decided to make adjustments and began supporting the infantry with a couple of tanks and armored fighting vehicles. The primary objective was to quickly close the distance and deploy the infantry right on the doorstep of the village. The most significant challenge faced by Russian mechanized assault units was the presence of mines. Interestingly, Russian forces exacerbated this issue when they introduced distant mining equipment to impede the Ukrainian withdrawal. Unfortunately for the Russians, the deployment of distant mining equipment came too late during the last days of the battle for Avdiivka, catching them off guard as they did not anticipate the timely withdrawal by the Ukrainians. Consequently, this tactical move inflicted more damage on the Russian forces. Geolocated combat footage vividly illustrates the aftermath, with multiple Russian armored fighting vehicles exploding on mines in front of Ilkin, contributing to the already staggering losses incurred in Avdiivka. During a recent briefing, Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu informed Putin that Avdiivka was taken with minimal losses. This claim faced significant skepticism, even within the Russian media space. Notably, Russian military volunteer Andrei Moroso posted a lengthy speech accusing Russian generals of recklessly sacrificing thousands of servicemen to advance their military careers. Moroso claimed that 16,000 Russian personnel died in combat during Russian offensive operations in Avdiivka. However, Moroso quickly deleted the post, reportedly after being threatened by a colonel who vowed to cut off ammunition supplies to his unit. Tragically, Moroso allegedly committed suicide the day after removing the post. Despite incurring substantial losses, the attacks persisted. After numerous mechanized assaults, the road to Ilkin was essentially demined, leading to intense fights within the village. Following the withdrawal of Ukrainian fighters from their strong points in the fields, the focus shifted to the next village on the line, Tonin. In a strategic move to undermine Russian offensive capabilities and diminish the intensity of attacks, Ukrainian forces executed a HIMARS strike on Russian bases in the Donetsk area. While you may have heard about the strike near Volnovakha, targeting a Russian base with at least 3 companies' worth of troops, what you likely haven't heard is that Ukrainians employed a new devastating tactic. Ukrainian HIMARS crews reportedly launched the first missile with a high-explosive warhead, followed by multiple missiles with cluster warheads after a 15-second interval. The impact of the high-explosive shell prompted the Russian soldiers to take cover on the ground. Lying down increases the chances of survival when facing high explosive shells. However, it reduces the chances of survival when dealing with cluster munitions. Consequently, Russian forces suffered significant losses. The decreased intensity of attacks in the region will assist Ukrainians in gradually consolidating their defense along the river and confronting Russian assault units from prepared positions. Recently released combat footage showcases some of these defensive efforts, revealing that Ukrainians have fortified natural barriers and continue to dig and equip additional trenches. However, several analysts on both sides suggest that the ABDF direction line will soon be deprioritized. Some Russian analysts hint that the primary reason Russian forces continue pressuring Ukrainians in this region is to compel them to allocate more troops to this front line, diverting resources from other directions. This strategy aims to distract Ukrainians because the main Russian offensive effort is anticipated in an entirely different direction. According to the head of Ukrainian intelligence, this offensive operation is expected to occur approximately 90 kilometers north of Avdiivka, where Russian forces have initiated 4 mutually supporting axes of advance, an unprecedented move as of yesterday.